What happens when 40 tons of logs start to slide? What happens when a tree falls the wrong way? Welcome to Machine Universe, where we find out.
Voiture de part et d'autre traverse. Nice! Heads up!
This was the scene all over Carmine,
On
Illinois.
live TV, no less, this guy deserves an honorary Darwin Award.
Literally standing under the trees, it's gonna fall into it. There it goes.
That's what you'd call a committed groundsman. Never underestimate a wind-blown beach. That guy shows why anchoring the stump is mandatory. If you skip the cable or the PPE, you're basically digging your own grave. Pounding the clutch like that is painful to watch. The Massey Ferguson 265 tractor really takes a beating here, but refuses to quit against such a stubborn root system. Did you see how much load that truck is carrying? It's insane that a road chassis even made it out of there. That clutch must be screaming for mercy right now. Chaos. For this specific machine class. He's burning time wiggling the load free. A seasoned pro knows 2 quick picks are far more efficient and cause less wear on the trailer stakes. It is wild to think that Douglas fir was growing before the United States even existed as a country. Look at the bar size on that chainsaw. It looks like a toy next to a 500-year-old trunk. I bet sharpening that chain took forever. If you want to see real machinery pushed to the limit, so much better for the forest than cutting live trees. Really shows why you need the right gear for the job. Even with older wood, precision harvesting ensures valuable resources aren't wasted during the cleanup process. Serious Quentin Tarantino vibe. Coming off this thing. Instead of separate machines, the excavator powers both the chainsaw and the splitter head. The operator just swings over, grabs a trunk, and crunch, instant firewood. Building a functional saw mill from scratch using car tires is solid engineering. The stability on that pine log is surprising for a homemade rig. But man, the lack of guards is nerve-wracking.
Already got pinching?
Even watching this through a screen makes me sweat. You can almost feel the heat radiating as it works. Felling them is critical to stop ember spread, but it's hands down one of the riskiest moves for any sawyer.
Nice! Heads up! No! Woo!
Bolt it!
Look at that chainsaw dangling in the void. How does anyone stay calm dangling 35 meters up? It takes serious guts to handle a chainsaw at that dizzying altitude. This is basically a giant industrial vacuum cleaner for the forest. It roams through the woods, sucking up all the leftover branches and logs, leaving the ground nice and tidy. It's the ultimate cleanup crew wrapped into one powerful off-road vehicle. Standing there watching the nose lift up, you expect something to snap. The operator is definitely having fun, but the mechanics back at the shop certainly won't be laughing. Mastering these mountain trails takes years. You really see the difference between rookies and pros. What do you think is more frustrating? Having your chain derail mid-cut on that steep angle, or watching the log you finally cut steamroll all the way to the bottom? Well, at least the log de-limbed itself on the way down.
There's a zoomed out view of it.
I would be terrified to drive that. One big bump on that dirt road and the whole 30-ton load is shifting.
Ja.
This is the opposite of safety. A crane takes 20 minutes. This takes 20 seconds of pure luck. We're looking at a historic Gattersag in the Mühlhausen sawmill in Germany, an operation that's been running for ages. While slower than modern bandsaws, its multi-blade design from the last century is perfect for processing a whole log in one pass. If tree felling isn't your thing, a chainsaw is definitely not the tool to experiment with.
Achtung, Baumfeld! Scheiße.
Those trucks are probably wondering what they did to deserve that. Wrong tool for pulling trees. Plus, he's standing in the worst possible spot. Forget clearing land. This thing just hits the delete button on the forest. It's like a 20-foot tall wood pencil being put into a 450 HP sharpener. Incredibly satisfying to watch that sawdust fountain erupt. But I'm wondering, what do they do about all the stumps left behind?
C'est comme un mystère de part et d'autre. C'est vraiment mystère.
This has to be a modern art project, right? They built the car around the tree. It's the only logical explanation.
Au-delà de tout entendement, ouais. Qui transfère c'est la voiture de part, et d'autre, jusqu'au siège qui est transpercé.
You're seeing a perfect example of a dangerously shifted center of gravity. Too much weight on the rear axles lifts the steering tires completely. The problem starts with overloading, causing the road to fail. Now the rear wheels are buried and the front axle is light, killing traction. I don't know about effective, but that cable setup is clearly hazardous. Look at those guys standing so close. He's totally in the snapback zone if that line breaks. Edge of a cliff, tiny bit of space, giant rig, and somehow he still pulls the turnoff. The driver handled it like a pro, but man, my heart was in my throat the whole time. They're called a Wagner L120, built for grabbing an entire stack at once. It's moving slower here, probably because the operator is still getting the feel for it. Have you ever seen this hydraulic wedge used before? It looks way safer than the old hammer method. What do you think? The operator must be having the best day ever. There's no better feeling than firing up a brand new $70,000 plus machine for its very first job. This 7015 TRX stump grinder must be the 74 horsepower model. It's the perfect size, big enough for heavy work, but small enough for tight backyard jobs. Look at that technique. He's through the log, perfect plunge cuts. That's a professional operator's speed. Direct hit on the controls. Pretty impressive aim for an accidental drop. That's one way to unload without a forklift. A rough method on the chassis, but it works. That log is way beyond the loader's comfort zone. Gravity just took over.
Everything about who they were. He can keep doing that. For his wife.
Took me at least 3 reviews to get what was going on.
Oh.
Modern harvesting in Thuringia relies on machines like the John Deere 1270D harvester. Pairing it with a Logmax 6000 head makes it ideal for heavy timber. It grabs, fells, delimbs, and bucks a full-size tree in one pass. The level of efficiency is honestly staggering to watch. The Ural 557 truck is just a true off-road beast. It looks like absolutely nothing can stop it on a firewood run. The ingenuity is there, but that wooden frame flexes way too much. It's a smart DIY, but it's just not as safe or accurate as a modern metal mill. Chainsaws are extremely dangerous in the hands of untrained weekend warriors. If you think hiring a professional is expensive, just wait until you hire an amateur.
Oh my God.
For anyone wondering, this is a standard Swedish forestry technique for replanting. The operation, called trenching, cuts through the top organic layer. This allows new seedlings to be planted directly into the mineral soil, ensuring they get the critical moisture needed for survival and fast establishment. It might look like a movie, but the reality is just a tough grind. Are there any log haulers watching? Only you guys know the real struggle behind these dramatic scenes. Respect for keeping it moving.
¿Quieres a la dirección un poquito?
That suspension just filed a complaint. Too much load on board. You just hold your breath watching. The loaded Freightliner truck is on a narrow ledge, relying on a single tow cable. The margin for error here looks like zero. One slip seems catastrophic. The engineering here is fascinating, especially that rotor system with up to 20 blades. The Biber 84 chipper is designed to handle the shock of 2-foot-thick logs without stalling that 510 horsepower engine. In Sweden, they tested it specifically on logging residue, and it still hit that massive 36 ton per hour mark. It's easy to get why Swedish loggers love running this thing. Just watching this older gentleman work is mesmerizing. He's wielding a chainsaw that probably weighs as much as a small child, cutting huge rounds of wood. The sound, the blue smoke, and the sawdust flying create a nostalgic scene. Funny how a rail, a chainsaw, and a bit of creativity suddenly turn someone into a backyard Sawyer. The setup works around the idea of controlling blade travel. For light to medium logs, the system seems efficient and cost-effective compared with larger portable mills. What do you think? Fascinating tool for modern forestry. You see a dense thicket one moment, and then just wood chips the next. It's like a real-life MS Paint eraser.
You were so lucky.
A tree can catch you off guard quicker than you think.
She's big.
Utilizing a Coos Bay cut on a leaning, dying hardwood like this ash is highly controversial. While the operator claims safety and efficiency with a 24-inch bar, the resulting barber chair confirms the lack of directional control inherent in bypassing a proper face cut. Stay safe out there.
Woohoo! Oh boy.
Around the tree. You can use an undercut if you want the.
That ending completely caught me off guard. It starts as a serious tutorial and ends with a crushed truck. Nice work. It's 3 decades old, but seems to outclimb modern equipment. LKT skidders are legendary in European forestry for their agility. Just watch the video. You'll get the picture fast. Absolute beasts battling the elements. The engines roar, tires spin, and the smell of diesel fills the air. It's a long, hard day of winching and fighting the snow. Just goes to show, the right gear changes the whole game. That John Deere setup makes it look so effortless. The wood just keeps moving. Investing in high-tech machinery really pays off when you see rugged forestry work turning into such a smooth production line. Big cedars often hide rot in the center, pretty standard for the wet coast, so predicting the fall is tough. Amazing! He nailed that Dutchman technique, essentially using a stepped cut to force the tree to leverage the tree around as it falls. Do you get a real sense of the complex challenges involved in logging this old-growth timber?
Checking over here. So it's like 8 foot 2 inches.
Unbooming sits right up there as one of logging's most dangerous moments.
That's a pretty long pipe you got there.
Smart way to handle roadside maintenance right here. The operator just swings the arm, grabs the wood, and feeds it right in without breaking a sweat. No struggling or back-breaking work involved. It basically replaces a whole crew with one machine. Forget the grinder for a second. Look at that power broom go. Never seen cleanup done so fast. It leaves the lawn looking incredibly neat and completely untouched. Moment every logger hopes to avoid, a barber chair. Oak is notorious for this. The tension in that wood is like a loaded spring. When it pops, it sends 1,000 pounds of wood flying instantly. Scary stuff. I am impressed that the homemade poker doesn't bend. Hitting a solid 3-foot stump with a 35-ton dozer puts massive stress on that metal. Whoever welded that knew exactly how to build for heavy abuse. Look at that rear tire popping off the ground. Is he trying to load the truck or do a wheelie? He must have reversed quickly and slammed the brakes to let inertia do the work. No expensive dump bed needed for this 10-ton load. This driver is a genius. You can see a perfect demonstration of the so-called dangerous chainsaw kickback. Be careful, man. Holy cow, look at the girth on that beach. You'd never expect a tractor to even nudge something that heavy, let alone drag it through the woods. Yet the MB Track 1100 tractor is pulling that massive beach log through the mud like it's nothing but a twig. Root removal is tougher than it looks. You can't just pull. You have to sever the lateral roots first. The ripper attachment is perfect for slicing through the soil and breaking the hole before lifting. Perfect machine for anyone who feels they have too many fingers. It looks less like a tool and more like the Arm Remover 3000. Tree 2, Truck 0.
Oh my god.
Here it comes.
Trying to save money by skipping professionals usually costs more in the end.
Yeah!
The front end is lifting off the ground like it wants to take flight, loading all that weight on the back axle on a snowy hill. What were they thinking? Crazy driving. Those skidder tracks look like a fun challenge for a dirt bike, but maybe not while the 635D skidder is working. It climbs better than most 4x4 trucks I know. Basically, it is a tank disguised as a tractor, turning the steepest hills into a casual Sunday drive for the logs. Urban forestry feels like a high-stakes balancing act. Since poplars only last about 30 years before becoming ticking time bombs, spotting rot in just one triggers a nervous reaction. You honestly have to take down the whole row just to sleep soundly. It's a tough call, but safety always comes first. Man, watching hands get that deep in the chute gives me anxiety. The rotating head is the game changer here. Being able to switch from felling a 40-foot tree to bucking logs on the ground without moving the machine makes this attachment incredibly versatile and fast. Anyone dare to try this? This guy found the fastest way down from a 50-foot tree, the 1-second gravity route. Crazy lucky. That whole thing has got to be over a ton. Too dangerous. If that log had been 6 inches lower, this video would have a totally different and much darker ending. We should all watch this to really appreciate the dangerous work loggers deal with. He's 130 feet in the air, higher than a 12-story building, relying on nothing but a 1-inch rope and a harness. That 8-ton log lifts steadier than expected, and it almost feels like just another day at the office for these guys. All right. He's committing to the turn, full load. The trailer is dragging hard through the mud. You can see the wheels spin. He's fighting the steering. Solid. That confident shortcut just cost him a $50,000 truck. This was a terrible idea. So beautiful. The landscape, the tree, the colors, the skill of Lumberjack. They make a dangerous job look easy. Looks like a picture of a painting master. It's a complete solo operation. First, you see the surgical precision of the crane, loading massive timber like it's nothing. Then, he hits the throttle, full steam, and unleashes a V8 roar and a colossal dust cloud. Absolutely commanding. How incredibly tough are those roots? Even with that massive, gnarly stump splitter mounted on a powerful 330 excavator, you can visibly see the entire machine lift off the ground. The machine is a beast, but the stump is putting up an incredible fight. This really shows you can't judge a book by its cover. The outside is dark, lumpy, and just plain ugly. A real monster. But the sawmill shows the inside is packed with this amazing color and value. The sheer size combined with that surreal color is simply stunning. A truly eye-opening display. That kickback was brutal. Lucky he didn't get thrown off.
People do for fun in the Outer Banks. Chop down trees, yay. Really tall trees too. Whoa. And there's Maddie! There goes the tree. Oh my god.
After watching this, I'm confident
no way
he
that
checked
was
every
safe.
box on the don't do this list.
Oh yeah.
Man, that's rough work. A stump grinder would have saved a lot of trouble, and yanking those roots could easily stress that house. The yard's definitely going to need a serious touch-up. Something like this Kubota BX stump grinder would have been way better for a yard. Here's a close look at the Ponce Ergo 8W harvester working in what the Germans call Starkholz, strong, thick timber. With logs this big, that 8-wheel base has to be rock solid. Otherwise, it's not getting the job done. They don't make them quite like this anymore. The LKT 82.2 is a classic European skidder, a real old-school workhorse. It doesn't need a fancy grapple. The operator just winches the logs in, uses the rear blade to bunch them up neatly, and then takes off, dragging the whole load. A simple, tough system for rough ground. Ever wonder why that first truck came into the turn with so much force? A beautiful Mercedes Actros truck, looking very out of place. It's built for smooth pavement, not for hauling logs out of deep mud. Someone definitely misjudged the capabilities. Great job, man. Only coastal wet area fallers know to use sawdust to dry their axe handle. What a beautiful chainsaw sound.
The inside of the fucking...
Fucking good.
Whoa! Hi, Nate!
So that's the technique for slopes this steep. The TAF 650 doesn't risk the descent. It just anchors and lets the heavy-duty winch do the dangerous work from a distance. The JBM 80-ton splitter is hypnotic. The side loader sets the 24-inch log, the 24-slice wedge moves. The log just vanishes into a pile. It's hard to look away from that much raw power. Forget small branches. You're seeing industrial-grade grinders, some running thousands of horsepower, swallowing 31.5 inches. Logs whole. The torque required is massive, and you can almost feel the ground shake. It's a terrifying and absolute display of mechanical hunger. You'd better stay far back. Imagine most of those houses' drainage goes right into the river.
I got the saw. Good.
So what's going on here, you guys? The gutter, the roof, and everything else. Not too terrible. Nice little chunk right there. Really broken. Just looks like we.
This is the ultimate nightmare for anyone living in Western Washington. Hemlock trees are notoriously dangerous storms. Their roots are too shallow. That 80-foot tree could have easily split the house in half and killed someone. When nature decides it's your turn for a surprise,
Might is roughly in that area. Now we're gonna have some fun and blow the bass.
they used actual dynamite? Surely this isn't legal anymore? The shrapnel alone is terrifying. It can do the impossible. It is a mountain tank.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Either the load was huge or the brakes got way too much action. What else could it be?
I think it'd be going the other way, wouldn't you?
You would. You must be making that turn off.
There. That is a log truck right there. Quebec province, Canada, with all the pine trees.
Oh my god!
Meet the Grumman modified Cat 320D. Its unique feature is the integration of a Quadco 18C40 continuous disc. This setup turns a standard excavator into a high-speed felling machine built for non-stop production. My anxiety is peaking. They are standing on slick 45-degree rocks, fighting a 10,000-pound log with a 30-foot waterfall waiting below. One misstep, and you are just gone. This is terrifying. It's a one-man factory. It saws and splits 10 cords a day easily. That Hitachi 350 excavator is playing dentist. The CBI shear is its plier, and it's pulling one very large, very stubborn tooth. No anesthetic needed.
Watch. I hope not caught on front of that. Huh? Why would you ever? Not right above. All right.
The tree was small, but it was angry. It went right for him. 4 guys, 0 planning.
Are you all right? Patrick, are you okay, dude?
Das ist der moderne. Fertig.
But pretty sure the house didn't order that crane delivery. They aimed the tree right at themselves and acted surprised when it moved. I love the operator's comment that this log lift 251S makes the job fun now. It shows how much modern cranes have changed the game. He's loading 30 tons of 40-foot logs without breaking a sweat, unlike the back-breaking old days. That's a real Mercedes truck. Nothing beats the growl of a V engine. The analysis doesn't end here. More critical failures are on screen now. Click to continue watching and subscribe to Machine Universe for your weekly dose of chaos.